AMD only has one current gen 8GB card, and then they have three 16GB cards, and we kind of need to slot something in the middle because VRAM's getting really expensive.
And AMD decided to do that with the RX 9070 GRE, which is a new GPU coming to the market right now to compete with the 5060 Ti 16GB at a estimated price of $550. Is this GPU actually worth it though with 12 gigs of VRAM? We're gonna benchmark it and find out after a word from today's sponsor.
Hey Matt, are you building a gaming PC in 2026?
Yeah, even though PC parts are very expensive right now, you can actually save a lot of money on your Windows activation to get good price to performance.
How? Isn't it like $200 for Windows?
Not with today's video sponsor, GVGMall. They're our go-to option when activating Windows on any gaming PC.
Oh duh, GVGMall. You just use the link in the description down below, pick your version of Windows, and then add it to the cart.
Be sure to use our exclusive discount code TB20 to save 25% off your Windows license purchase, which will get your cost down to $26.
So once you purchase your key, the code is then digitally sent to you, and then all you have to do is go into your settings, find the activation settings, and then copy and paste your Windows key, and then boom, it's activated.
So big thanks again to GVGMall for sponsoring today's video. Now let's dive back into it, shall we?
So AMD has been making claims that with their 12GB GRE card, that it's supposed to be 20%, up to 20% better than a 5060 Ti 16GB, which if you guys know the history of the channel and also just people in general, nobody really loves the 5060 Ti 16GB because it just has almost more VRAM than it needs for the actual hardware. Matt actually did a video where we tested the 5070 against this card, and the 5070 was better in every way. So we know that this card is likely not going to be just $550. Maybe this exact model of power color, but more than likely it's going to be more expensive. But AMD really likes to compare to this one because it's expensive. I mean, we're looking at like, what, $550 to $620 depending on which model you get for 5060 Ti 16GB. And overall, it's not a great price to performance card.
And obviously for the sake of this video, all we can really do is base it on what AMD says the price is going to be. Again, if you're watching this in the future, the price will change and you guys may say this comparison makes no sense. But you know what? At the time when planning this video, it does make sense with the estimated price of $550, and with our power color model here, it will make a lot of sense comparison wise to like an entry-level 5060 Ti 16GB. But enough about what we're going to be doing in this video. Let's talk about the specs of the new GPU that's coming to the market and how it compares to the 5060 Ti 16GB, so you guys at home can see what differences there are on paper before we get to gaming. So the RX 9070 GRE will have a release date of, I believe, June 1st when you're watching this video, with a starting price of $549. It is a PCI 5.0 by 16 card with 12 gigabytes of DDR6 VRAM and a 220 watt TDP. Our specific model for video out has 3 DisplayPort and 1 HDMI, and we are rocking this 3-fan power color model, more specifically the power color Reaper model, which we believe will be an entry-level option for the 9070 GRE. And for that 220 watt TDP, it does require 2 8-pins for power, so do keep that in mind with your PC build.
Now for the RTX 5060 Ti 16GB, you gotta remember this released in a different time before the VRAM shortages, so it released April 16th, 2025 with an MSRP of $430, which we didn't really even love back then. It is PCIe Gen 5 by 8, it has 16 gigs of GDDR7 VRAM, and the TDP is 180 watts, and you'll notice that our model here actually has a 16-pin NVIDIA connector. You can also get these sometimes with just a single 8-pin as well. And then for the display, we have 3 DisplayPort and 1 HDMI, just like the GRE, and it's also a 3-fan model. This one is a Asus TUF gaming card.
So in this video, we're gonna do what we do with our benchmark comparison videos. We're gonna do what we call Let's Play benchmarks, where we take both GPUs and play the same game back to back so you guys can see the difference between the two in live action gameplay. You're not gonna get bored looking at a chart, you're gonna see us play some games. Then after that, we're gonna do some side-by-side comparisons with games with built-in benchmark utilities and of course 3D Mark Time Spy, so you guys can see once again side-by-side the differences between these GPUs, and we'll figure out a simple point calculation to see which one is the best bang for buck based on estimations. It's probably gonna be the most, we're taking a wild guess here, estimation on Simper Point because we only have that one price to work with, but if things do update dramatically by the time this video goes live, we'll leave some sort of pinned comment with the new calculation so you guys at home in the future can determine for yourself which one's the best bang for buck. But let's talk about that test bench we're gonna be using to test both GPUs.
For the Toasted Bros test bench, we have the Ryzen 7 9850X3D 8-core 16-threaded processor. And to cool the CPU, we're using the Asus ROG Strix LC3 360mm AIO. The motherboard is an Asus TUF Gaming B850 Plus Wi-Fi DDR5 board. We have 32 gigs of Team Group Delta RGB 6000 MHz CL28 RAM. Our NVMe is a 4TB Lexar NM790 Gen 4 SSD. We have plenty of power with the Asus TUF 1200 watt power supply that is fully modular and ATX 3.1 ready. Our case is the Asus TUF GT502, which is a pretty large full tower case, and then we loaded it with Asus TUF TR120mm ARGB fans. So now that we talked about the test bench and we talked about our two graphics cards here, we're gonna throw them into the test bench and we're gonna get to gaming. All right guys, to kick things off, 5060 Ti 16 gig on Arc Raiders running DLSS quality on the Transform model, 1440p dynamic medium ray tracing high settings. Go ahead and get things going. We're on Bluegate. And guys, this is a pretty solid 1440p card. You guys know that. The 5060 Ti 16 gig and also the 9060 XT 16 gig, but now the 9070 GRE, will it also be solid in 1440p?
Biggest thing that obviously you guys at home are going to be thinking about, and we're honestly not too worried about because we've seen it time and time again, the VRAM usage. This game, it don't matter. I mean, we're literally under 5 gigs of VRAM, so you're not going to see a problem between 12 and 16. And I really don't think any of the games we are testing today are really going to see a problem between 12 and 16. So theoretically, I don't see the VRAM being a problem. It's just really about the raw horsepower of the GPU. Just like 5070 versus this GPU. We did a whole video on that. The 5070 is a far superior card, even though it has less VRAM.
Yep, and that's kind of the idea, is that the GRE should be kind of like close to this card in the 5070.
Yep.
Just with 12 gigs of VRAM, which is kind of AMD's thing. It's like we give you maybe a little less horsepower, but more VRAM to use. Oh, goodness.
Oh, they said you're not going home today, buddy.
I don't think I'm going home today.
You're not going home today. Oh, that thing is locked on.
It's one of those laser turrets. I don't want it.
It's got that human detection. Oh! Oh!
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if you're going home today. To be fair, they have not hit you yet.
Oh, he got me. Oh, that really hurt.
They went from not hitting
Why do
you
they have to do so much damage? Oh my god. Where is these turrets? Oh, it's these things? They're portable?
I think we might have to salute to this one.
All right.
Y'all wanted efficiency in Arc Raiders.
Average of 129, 1% low of 82. And that was with some heavy, look at all these things. They're everywhere. All right, let's go over to the new RX 9070 GRE. All right, guys, we are now on the RX 9070 GRE. And you can see it's raining now, so hopefully that doesn't skew our results too much, but we're looking pretty good so far in terms of the, like, it looks nice. 1440p FSR quality, max FOV, dynamic medium ray tracing, and high settings again. So pretty much maxing the same settings, minus we're using a different upscaling technique, but when it comes to modern NVIDIA and modern AMD cards, their upscaling's both gotten pretty darn equivalent.
Yeah, and we got FSR4 on the 9070 GRE, which looks really good. I mean, this looks basically native. Like,
It looks really good.
It looks really sharp. Looks like we're playing at 1440p right now and getting really good results.
Yeah, so before we got, what'd you say the minimum was, like 87?
Yeah, the minimum last time was a low of 82 and an average of 129. So we're looking very similar, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I know some of the built-ins have like a little bit of a different story, but I'm just gonna die again, I think. So
it's just gonna be like last time.
There was a guy over here that I was like, oh, I'm gonna help this guy, and then he's gone.
Oh my goodness gracious.
My friend is gone.
Your friend is vanished.
Yeah, this is not gonna be a long one.
You guys
just exactly what they wanted.
It literally is gonna be like the same numbers too.
Yeah, okay, so average of 128, 1% low of 89. Yeah, you guys can kind of see the utilization, the wattages as well. I think that's an important thing to keep track of. But Arc Raiders surprisingly looked about the same.
Let's try the next game. All right, guys, we are now on Clair Obscur X Edition 33, currently running the following settings. We're running a bit of a higher preset here. We're running DLSS with DLAA, so we're actually getting some higher upscaling here with some anti-aliasing, but DLAA, we are running on the high preset at 1440p. Now, this is a game you kind of want to target that 60 FPS mark where you can, but we're getting some stutters here and there loading in. And I'd be curious to see if the 9070 GRE can help us out at all here. Obviously, we'll tweak some settings in a little bit just for comparison purposes, and I think I'm gonna need to reset because there's nothing to fight here. But these settings might just be a little too aggressive for 1440p for this card.
The good news is the 1% low came up really quick. It was 11, now it's 44.
It was a very quick micro stutter, so it is holding on a bit better. Let me see if I can find my way back.
So why don't she walk?
She just don't want to walk. She'll walk. She'll walk. He'll run. This guy run. She float.
She float.
She's just different like that. All right, so we'll rest here real quick, and then I will go ahead and fight somebody and see what we're getting on average. It's been a while since I played this game. 1 year anniversary just happened at the end of April, so.
Shout out.
Shout out. But this is a game that obviously VRAM's still not a problem, but GPU usage, we are pretty much maxing this thing out. And right now, I'm about 40 FPS. I wouldn't say this is the most playable way to play this game, but we do have the ability to optimize settings, or just even turning on DLSS is probably what I would do, because it would look almost identical and you'll just get even more performance. So just for the fun of it, after we finish this fight, I will turn that on. And zip. Oh, can I get this? Oh yeah, oh yeah. I can hit the parries, let's go.
Wow.
So we'll say 50 average with a 1% low of 27. All right, just for the fun of it, because honestly, if I had this card, I'd be running DLSS on everything. Like I wouldn't run DLAA, I'd probably run balanced DLSS.
I do this on my 5080.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't run DLAA at this resolution. Let's go ahead and, yeah, I mean, look at that.
Oh, it's so much better.
It's so much better. 90, 80 FPS. Even then, you have frame gen also. You get 2 times frame gen. Get an average about 160 FPS. No problems there. We'll get into a fight real quick. Can I even get down to them? Yeah, you go this way. Where things will start to get a little bit better performance-wise. But yeah, I would run upscaling at this resolution on this game. Really, this will kind of be a little bit of an FSR versus DLSS test as well if these cards are close.
PK Fire.
PK Fire? Oh, that was easy. Not too bad. Okay, we won't really consider this into the equation, but it is cool to see. The 1% low is still a little bit low. Definitely some stutter happening somewhere, but that's just going into the battle scene. Normally that's what causes that 1% low, just running around. It's starting to raise a little bit, so definitely run DLSS with this setup, but let's see what the 9070 GRE can do. All right, guys, we're now in Clay Obscure on the 9070 GRE, and we're going to look at the settings here currently. Oh, wrong button. Once again, I played this in a little bit. We're on the high preset. FSR is enabled, but it's running anti-aliasing just like we were doing with DLAA, basically the same thing. Running at 1440p on high settings. And last time, got an average about 50 FPS with a 1% low into the 27 range. It's looking smoother. I really remember, and again, it's been about a day since we've done it, but looking back, it wasn't really a playable experience on those settings before. We were having some dips. Now, I will say when we get into a battle, that might change here in a minute. We might dip down to the 40s. Oh, we're in the 50s. That's better, but it's definitely still not super smooth. But we are getting a higher FPS average, about 10 FPS.
That definitely lines up with what AMD's, they're saying about 20% better than like the 5060 Ti 16 gig, but clearly based on our creators, that may not be for every game and for every setting type as well.
And that hasn't changed from GPU generation to GPU generation. Realistically, there are some titles that are more optimized for certain GPUs, so it does not surprise me that we're getting those numbers in other games. Wattage drive's pulling about 220 watts. This does require 2 8-pins for power, by the way. So it's the difference between 2 8-pins versus an ATX 3.1 connector. So there you go. You gotta decide that for power draw wise, but 220 watts seems, I would say, reasonable. But hey, the averages was 58 with a 1% low of 32. So this guy just decided to fight me once again. I'll write that one down just to make sure we get that saved. And what I was gonna do, see if I can do this mid-battle, I haven't done this before, was we're gonna actually just turn on FSR, just like we did last time. We just turned on some DLSS and we ran it on balanced, and we were getting much higher FPS averages. I would imagine here we're gonna see a similar scenario. Yeah, we're getting about 80 FPS now in a battle. This is what I would do. Same thing with the NVIDIA GPU, the 5060 Ti 16 gig. I would run upscaling. Just run it. 1440p, it's gonna look great. Native AA does make it look even sharper, but yeah, we're getting like even higher. We're getting 100 FPS now. So this GPU is definitely stretching its legs when you turn on upscaling, which I would recommend you do. But even without it, if you're anti-upscaling, you get close to that 60 FPS mark. But this one is a clear win for the 9070 GRE. Let's try one more game.
All right, guys, we're in the favorite game show of some people around here. This is the finals in the 5060 Ti, and we currently are running, sorry, this like caught me up here. We got like performance metrics up top. 1440p DLSS balanced, transformer, dynamic low ray tracing, and medium settings. And so far, looking pretty good. We get that page up going.
This is kind of your example of a more graphically demanding esports title. Obviously, good CPU will change exactly what kind of performance you get. I mean, we have one of the best gaming CPUs on the market, the 9850X 3D.
Can't believe Jonah used to feel good doing that. I don't even play the game, bro, and it's just light work.
Exactly, light work. It's easy.
But we're getting I mean, this is pretty, 1440p, we're getting, I would say, like, what a lot of people target for 1080p in a game like this.
Good competitive performance for sure.
High refresh rate, good looks, smooth gameplay. What more could you ask for?
And we will be testing some other games during the end, as always, some built-in benchmarks, even some more demanding games with more GPU bound. So you get a little variety here. We don't just play all the mainstream games. We like to throw in some other ones that are a little bit under the radar in our opinion.
A little bit, alternative, if you will.
We're the alternative bros.
Dude, imagine.
Like, imagine, dude.
Don't chase me, please.
But like, imagine.
Ow. Ow.
But like,
Ow.
but like, imagine.
See if we can get one more kill. Pull.
Pull.
Oh god.
Hit that clay pigeon.
Oh god, we're getting we're getting a little ignorant here.
Ooh.
I used all of them. What does this do?
PK power.
Oh, I hit him. Oh my god, that means he's following me. Oh, he's won. All right. So average 172, 1% low, 104. I'm feeling like this card's gonna be hard to beat, but the GRE is supposed to do it. Let's see it. All right, guys, we are back in the finals. Let me show you all the settings. So we're once again running 1440p. We got FSR this time set to balanced and running dynamic low, medium. There we go.
Yep.
Same settings as before, just once again, different upscaler, but very equivalent upscaler.
Very equivalent, and last time we got some pretty good averages. We were looking at an average of 172 with a 1% low of 104. So looking pretty similar. I would say a few more frames here and there. The map isn't apples to apples, but we're gonna let Jackson lock in with some snipes.
I'm not feeling very good right now.
He wasn't feeling very good in that
I'm not
moment.
feeling very good, Mr. Krabs. What is that snowman? Okay, so what were we getting? What was our high before?
Last time we got 172 with 1% low of 104. So we're looking pretty similar FPS-wise. Wow, these guys are
they just all lights?
These are cracked. These are some cracked gamers.
I need not go near the platform. That's the goal, the move, if you will. I'm a distance guy. Why does all this have to be here? It's making me be a close guy.
Yep. Ooh.
There we go. Oh, did he get him? Why is he hitting me? I'm his teammate. Does he think I'm a spy?
Are you a spy?
He's a spy.
That's a spy.
So far this is
very
only
similar.
Slightly better, right?
Yeah, only a little bit better. And our GPU is at 100%, so we are maxing out that GPU. Very similar to what we were seeing with the 5060 Ti 16 gigs. So in this scenario, at least in this game with this FPS count, it looks like really very similar performance.
Oh god. Oh my god, I'm so fat.
Oh my god.
All he's gonna see is the glint. The glint's gonna be the last thing he sees.
Ooh, snipe
the
battle,
sniper
snipe battle.
Oh, he's better.
Oh, he better.
Get him one more life.
Interesting.
So we only have one game so far that's actually really been like
Substantial. Significantly better.
it makes you wonder.
Makes you wonder, game-on-game basis, what games actually matter with these two cards.
And you also have to wonder too when they say 20% better, are we talking raw? Are we talking with certain upscaling?
Could be with upscaling too.
That's the problem with benchmarks these days is they could literally be like, they could just tell you the results with upscaling versus a card without upscaling, you know?
Like you're something goofy like running FSR and NVIDIA GPU, and they're like, yeah, it does better with FSR on our card.
Yeah.
Running these settings. And they're like, well, yeah. There's too many variables.
So, right?
That's why we try to throw you guys a bunch of different setting varieties in games when we test them, because there's so many variables.
And it's pretty often we get results like this where we're like, well, it's not always the case. Oh!
Oh!
All right, well, that was a uneventful last life, but we got average of 173, 1% low, 101.
All right, we'll run some side-by-side benchmarks, see if the story is a little bit different with those. But interesting here that they are a lot closer than you could think, and at the prices that they're at, it is a debate still. All right, so we had some fun with some Let's Play benchmarks, but let's do some side-by-side testing with these two GPUs, the 9070 GRE and 5060 Ti 16 gig, to see which one is the better price performance option. First up, of course, we had to run the latest Forza Horizon 6. We ran this at 1440p high settings with no upscaling, no ray tracing turned on. We're just doing raw GPU horsepower here. And with the 9070 GRE, we ended up getting an average FPS of 153 compared to the 5060 Ti 16 gig, which got an average of 123 FPS. So that's a massive improvement in the averages department. The benchmark tool in Forza Horizon 5 only spits out the average number, not 1% low, but you guys saw the 1% low numbers in other games we tested, and it does show that this GPU is a significant uplift if the GPU stays the price it should, and that's the messaging throughout this video, is the rumored pricing of $540 for an MSRP Is that going to continue to be a thing? We'll see. Next up, we tested Blackmyth Wukong 1440p high settings, and we used DLSS for the 5060 Ti 16GB at 50%, and FSR4 for the 9070 GRE at 50%, and with that 9070 GRE, we went with an average of 111 FPS with a max of 129 and a minimum of 94, while at the 5060 Ti 16GB, we got an average of 99 FPS, a max of 114, and a minimum of 80. Not as big of a gap here as Forza Horizon 6, but there is a difference between these two GPUs, and a game that is notoriously really hard on your GPU hardware. Both of these cards, especially in the VRAM department, have more wiggle room to go with some higher details. You can go very high settings if you want to, scale back on the upscaling if you want to as well, but I'll be honest, both of these look really sharp when you have your upscaling enabled at 50%, but if you want to get even more sharper details, you can crank things up a little bit on each one and still maintain a really good FPS experience. Next, we tested CS2, 1440p high settings. Disclaimer, CS is a very CPU-bound game, but running higher details, we should be able to stress the GPUs a little bit here with our built-in benchmark tool. On the 9070 GRE, we went with an average of 352 FPS, the 1% low of 206, while the 5060 Ti 16GB, we went up with an average of 331 FPS with a 1% low of 138. Much higher on the 1% low with the 9070 GRE here in CS2. It seems like this GPU really favors this game, and the averages are about the same distance we've seen in a bunch of other titles. It's pretty consistent what the difference between the 9070 GRE is and the 5060 Ti 16GB. And lastly, we ran 3D Mark Time Spy to get our GPU score to see if we could get a cent per point calculation on how many points you're getting for the amount of money you're spending on your graphics card. Keep in mind the price we did use is $540 for the 9070 GRE, which is the rumored starting price for these graphics cards. At that price point, when you run the 9070 GRE, you're going to be getting a total score of 20,357 with a GPU score of 21,433 and a CPU score of 15,852, which results in a 0.0252 cent per point score, which compared to the 5060 Ti and 3D Mark Time Spy ended up with a total score of 16,064, a GPU score of 16,082, and a CPU score of 15,969, which results in a 0.0354 cent per point score. So it's pretty clear at $540, the 9070 GRE would be a much better bang for buck option right now, especially when considering the price I used for the 5060 Ti 16GB is about $579. Now, both of them are the same price. It is going to be a little bit closer of a debate. You really got to decide if you feel like you need the extra VRAM or play games that are more VRAM hungry, because 16 versus 12 is something to consider. But in our opinion, at 1440p, you'd be fine with either one of these GPUs. It really just depends on what price you get each one. So let's go ahead and wrap this video up and come to our conclusions about both of these GPUs. Is the 9070 GRE worth it? Let's talk about it.
So we just ran a bunch of benchmarks. We did Let's Plays, we did some built-ins, and as you guys can see, just depending on the scenario, the 9070 GRE can only be slightly better sometimes. There's some games where we're seeing like 20% like AMD claims. There's other games though, like some of the Let's Plays, where we genuinely saw almost the same results, which really brings up the question, how much will the AIB companies actually be selling these cards for? Because at the end of the day, if they're like $500, you know, if they kind of drop, because that's what was great about the other GREs. They undercut their own cards, which was awesome. I have a feeling though that this card almost may be a, hey, we can keep our 9070, 9070 XT card high and keep the 9060 model high so that this card looks better possibly.
And they could even do, again, this is kind of doomsday, but we're in this market right now. They could even theoretically up the price of the 9070 and 9070 XT, which are two cards that require 16 gigs of VRAM, which are very expensive, but now they'll have the justification to up it and then have this card slot in at its normal price that it used to be at, which won't be great for the market, but it's something I can see happening. And really, again, it just all comes down to price. In this battle right here, if I were to pick one of these GPUs, I would probably get the 9070 GRE if it actually is cheaper and performs better in most cases, even if it's just slightly better. We're under attack by a fly right now. I don't know where it's coming from. But if you end up seeing the price much higher than that, closer to the $600 mark, then you're probably going to jump to like a normal 9070. Get that 16 gigs of VRAM, a faster GPU, and maybe go that route instead. But again, you guys are the one who will tell us the pricing because we don't really know what it's going to be. Let us know in the comments down below if it's much higher or lower than we estimate in today's video.
And as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you check out our other two YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros. And do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Now, at PCBros.tech, we can build a PC with this card, we can build one with this card, we can build one with any card out there if you want.
PCBros.tech. You can buy a gaming PC and not have to worry about which GPU is giving me the best bang for buck. We can do that for you and buy a PC that's either ready to ship or custom made for you. Use code ToastyBros on checkout. You will save 3% on your next purchase. See you guys later. Goodbye.